What up, everyone? Thank you for coming back to my channel. I know it's been a while, but like usual and as always, I do appreciate you coming back to my channel. So we got to talk about Donald Trump taking the White House back, taking that motherfucker by storm too. I want to just really give my opinion on the dynamics that a few of them, not everything of course, that kind of led to we call it a landslide, basically. The landslide that it was, okay? How Trump just, it was almost like a slam dunk in the face of everyone that doubted, everyone that hated, everyone that said anything. So I want to get right into it. Kamala Harris, however you want to pronounce it, she never stood a chance, okay? Let's just be real. Now that it's all over, now that everyone has gone home, they've put away their Trump flag or their Kamala flag. They've accepted the fact that Trump has won. Let's just keep it real. Kamala Harris never stood a chance. A woman of color, whether or not she's a black woman, listen, I personally don't believe she's a black woman based on everything that I've seen, the information that has come out about her history. But if you want to call her black, fine. But the fact of the matter is, a woman of color, okay, was never, and I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but I do believe, and this is my opinion, okay? If you disagree, feel free to leave your disagreements in the comments. My opinion, a woman of color running as, siding with black women, saying she was a black woman, she was never going to win. She was never going to win. If you see, they showed where this lady did not do better than Biden in any county in the United States. Not one county. She lost so many states that Biden won. Listen, I'm down here in South Florida. She did not win Miami-Dade County. And it has been a long time since Miami-Dade County did not go blue. Florida usually goes red, but Miami-Dade County almost always, until now, and I'm sure a long time ago it went red also, but within the last number of elections, it was blue. Biden, okay, Sleepy Joe got Miami-Dade, lost Florida, but he got Miami-Dade. Kamala could not get Miami-Dade. Now, Miami-Dade County is in South Florida pretty much, but especially Miami-Dade, there is a large population of Latin people. Okay, whether they be Cuban, it's mixed. Cuban, Venezuelan, Colombian, Brazil, from everywhere. Not a lot of Mexicans, I would say, but there's some. But a large portion are Latin. And I hate to go here, but I'm going to go here, okay? Ask any Latin woman that is brown skinned how they are viewed in the Latin community, whether they're from I forgot to say Dominican and Puerto Rican here in South Florida too. There's a lot Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. Ask any of them, especially from Colombia, from Venezuela, from Brazil, But even from the DR, okay, any of these places, if they're from Argentina, all right, anywhere like that, Cubans, these people love light and white skin, especially women. Ask a brown-skinned Latina how she is received, how she is perceived in her country, in her community, and just listen to see what she says. She is at the bottom, and the difference is here in America, black people are, I would say, there is a conversation about colorism. There is the conversation. Even though people are going to gravitate towards what they like no matter what, but the conversation is had. In the Latin community and in Latin countries, it's just like, hey, well, too bad your mom or your dad decided to have you from someone that made you brown skinned. So sucks for you. You got to just live with that. There's no conversation. It is what it is. If you're brown skinned, then you're at the bottom. You're lower. You're less than. The Latin community, in my opinion, especially here and abroad, as we see throughout the rest of the US, okay, they were not going to vote for a brown skinned woman. Not only that, not just the Latin community, but when you get into the Indian community, okay? And we know that Kamala is really, I think her mom is actually Indian, okay? Indians, and I'm tying this in because she was saying that she was black, okay? We know I'm black, okay? I've had interactions and I've worked with Indians. And listen, this is not a blanket statement, but let's just be real. A big majority of Indians, albeit they are brown skinned, they don't fuck with black people, okay? And it could be a black person that is of lighter skin than them, but just the black American, that what that represents to them, they don't fuck with it, okay? Indian people were not fucking with black people. Somebody that was going to identify as black. Now, maybe if she said she was an Indian woman, then maybe, now granted, the Indian population in America is not big, don't get me wrong, but I'm just making a point. Asian Americans, all these Indians, okay, but let me get back to them real quick, then I'm gonna pivot to Asians. Indian Americans and Indians, I'm sure in India too. You hear people talk all the time. They love white people. They love white skin, okay? Most Indians, if you ever see an Indian dating outside their race, they are really true to their race. Now, one thing you'll say, they're very traditional, but if they decide to date outside of their race, it's gonna be a white person. If you see an Indian with a black person, you should go and play the lotto, because that is very rare. There are always going to be outliers, don't get me wrong, but by and large, Indians, if they date outside their race, if they hang with people outside their race, it is going to be white people, because they prefer white people. The whiteness is what they like. Pivoting over now to Asians, the same thing. Asians, and I've seen plenty of Asian people make videos about this. They love white people. They love white skin. They love everything about whiteness. So a woman of color that is towing the line saying, oh yeah, I'm a black woman, man, get out of here. Stood no chance just based on that. Now, on to her policies, okay? A lot of people, myself included, had some issues with some of her policies. For example, her stance on, mass immigration, and being very woke with the whole transgender thing. let's just be real, man. Most people are not really down with the whole transgender thing. And then, she didn't really have a strong stance on, not that I was aware of anyway. She was not favored for anything dealing with the economy or inflation, things that are very important to the average working person. People remember when Trump was in office and gas was low and groceries were more affordable. A lot of people were making money. Okay, a lot of people were making money. I was making money. A lot of people. Everyone talked about how, it was just better. And a lot of people want that back. Gave Joe Biden the chance, and truth be told, Joe Biden would have probably done better than Kamala Harris, realistically, just based on the fact that he was a white man. And we have to we have to be real with that. But we can't ignore the fact that a lot of the things that occurred during Biden's campaign, or not campaign, sorry, during his term in office, Harris was associated with all that because she was the direct vice president. She had power, or some say so, in a lot of the decisions, and she seemed to ride with a lot of it. You have the Venezuelan gang here now taking over apartments in Colorado and committing all sorts of murders, and the usual black youth violence is out of control. I mean, now you hear all sorts of black youth talking about having switches on their guns, turning Glocks into automatic weapons. Violence is out of control in those areas. Then you have a big portion of illegals coming in and displacing a lot of them, getting a lot of help from the government, okay, being housed for free, being fed for free, being given money for home loans and things like that. A lot of the American people were not down with that. A lot of American people and a lot of legal immigrants that came over here legally and got citizenship, they were not down with people just coming over here doing what they want. Just a free open border. You can't stop whoever from coming in, And then we have to remember also that Kamala, when the Hurricane Helene and the one before that, I forget the name of it, or was it after, came through and hit Tampa, the Central Florida area, hit North Carolina, those areas, flooded them out bad. Kamala was trying to give $750 to the people. People didn't forget that. They didn't forget that. And the fact that she got the death row inmate the transgender surgery. People, they remember that. And as for black voters, I think that the information that came out a lot from like Candace Owens doing history on her, her background, where she tried to say that this lady that she was standing there as a youth, she was hugging. She said this lady was grandma somebody, when it turned out that it was more likely to be a servant of her family, possibly even a slave. And then how she came out on that interview and was like, I'm not gonna give nothing to do nothing for black people alone. No. And black people didn't like that, because black people feel like a lot of other demographics, whether it not just race, but it could be religious, or it could be like gender identity demographics, they get catered to for things that they want, at least a few things. And a lot of black people just don't feel like things that we ask for, we get. Now, I understand that the reparations talk, that would be considered a big leap by a lot of people. But I do also see that when money is being given to different groups, we'll say Israel, we'll say who are the people that are fighting Russia? I can't even. That's a damn shame. The Ukrainians. But money being given to them, and money for all sorts of other things. And blacks are like, okay, well, we're only 13% of the population. You should be able to cut us a check. And then for Kamala to get up there and say, I'm not doing nothing that's going to benefit black people alone. No. So a lot of black people did not like that. A lot. I'm just being real. And so I do believe that cost her quite a bit of the vote. And then we have to also turn to the fact that Joe Biden, I don't really believe Joe Biden did much to help her win. He hasn't really been out much. I understand he's old, and they want him to get out of the White House because maybe he's senile or whatever is going on with him, dementia. But he really did nothing. He didn't, and that could be one last little ha-ha that he got for potentially just being booted from the presidential race to run again. I personally feel like Joe Biden should have stepped down. He should have decided not to run for a second term. I think he should have just decided to let someone else run and let the people decide who they wanted to represent them. Just handing it over to Kamala was not a good choice. I mean, you basically handed it over to Trump, which, listen, I'm not mad that Trump won. I'm not a Harris supporter. I'm only giving my opinion from this perspective. I'm not somebody I'm not very political. I do follow politics, especially presidential politics, but I'm not super political, and I definitely was not a Harris supporter. I'm just speaking from this perspective on, things that I feel cost her this landslide. It wasn't even just a loss, it was a landslide. And then, I have to throw this little jab in here. You can get mad if you want, okay? But, for anybody who says that Kamala's not a black woman, well, I think that at the very end, when she realized she lost and she didn't show up to that Howard speech she was supposed to give, and she left the headquarters, she didn't come out and address any of the people that were supporting her. She, she was just like, I lost. Okay, well, fuck this shit. I'm going home. Hey, in classic black woman form, okay? If you doubt it, and I doubt it, okay, that she had some black in her, yeah, she got a little bit of black in her, all right? She lost, and she said, fuck this shit. I'm going home. Nah, but, hey, let's go Trump, though. Trump, when he was in office, people were making money, and people want to get back to that. People want gas prices to go low again. They want to be able to afford homes. They want lower interest rates. Not just on homes, but on cars, on credit cards. I don't know how successful he'll be at this again, but let's see. And Trump also made history in a whole bunch of ways, and he was basically delayed but not denied. Trump was delayed, but he couldn't be denied, and here he comes again. So once again, these are just my thoughts, my opinions. Leave any sorts of thoughts or opinions that you have concerning my opinion in the comments below. We can talk about it. I'll respond. Thank you, as always, for coming back to my channel, listening to me talk. I do appreciate it. I know you could be doing so much more things with your time. You took time to listen to me. I do appreciate that. Until next time, as always, we got to stay safe and we got to stay free.